Is geography destiny? We said that the subconscious wants to keep us alive, and except for some exceptions, the subconscious comes as a blank slate at birth and charts its own path based on what it learns from its environment. Now, there is a saying we've all heard, geography is destiny, but I actually don't agree with this. The real destiny is the house you are born into. I think there was a TV series about this called The House You Are Born Into Is Your Destiny. I don't know exactly what it's about, but what I want to say is this. It really isn't the geography you are born into, but the house you are born into that is your destiny. Are there people who live in the same neighborhood in the same city but can think completely differently from each other? Yes, there are. So what is it that sets them apart from each other? Maybe it's their parents, or maybe it's who they get their information from directly. Let me give you an example. Then I'll talk about 2 movies, because I want this idea to settle into your subconscious. Geography is not destiny. The house you are born into is your destiny. And I'm not using the word destiny here to mean something unchangeable. There are already a lot of misunderstandings about destiny. Many people say destiny is written on our foreheads. It cannot be changed. They say this. They even defend this with religious references. But here's what I don't understand. In the Quran, Surah Al-Isra, verse 13, it says, "We have tied every person's destiny to their own effort." What does this mean? It means your destiny is shaped by your own efforts. But some people say, no, destiny cannot be changed. So should we listen to what these people say, or to this very verse in the Quran? That's why I'm using the concept of destiny here in this sense. If you do nothing for yourself, if you don't take a step to change things, then yes, your life will flow in a certain direction. Think of it like you're floating on a stream. If you just let yourself go, you'll end up wherever the current takes you. But if you row, you can change your direction. If you accept the beliefs and thoughts of the home and environment you were born into without ever questioning them, you will follow their path. But if you question them and strive to change yourself, you write your own destiny. In my life, I changed 90% of the things that were taught or passed on to me that I didn't want. Look, I'm not exaggerating, 90%. Yes, it was difficult. Yes, sometimes I was alone. But in the end, I became free. And being a free person was the greatest reward for me. You know, there's a beautiful saying, sometimes to avoid being on the wrong side of life, you have to choose to be on the lonely side. And sometimes we must not forget this either. Some paths are walked alone. If the thoughts, beliefs, and rules imposed on you in the house you were born in make you uncomfortable, if you keep experiencing the same cycles over and over again, then something has been coded wrong. A few years ago, we organized a training in Amsterdam. It was a small group training with about 20 or 25 people. A lady who attended there caught my attention. She was about 25 or 26 years old. She was tense. She was uncomfortable with the presence of men. As the program progressed, we talked and chatted. I learned that she was born and raised in Amsterdam, but something she said really surprised me. "This is my first time coming to the center of Amsterdam," she said. I was surprised because her house was only 5 kilometers away from the center of Amsterdam. People come from thousands of kilometers away to visit Amsterdam. She had never been there, not even once. So why? Because her parents always told her that place is the center of devils. Going there is a sin. People there are corrupted, and for years she accepted this as the truth. Now, I don't know how much you know about Amsterdam, but I specifically chose this example because Amsterdam is a city where many things considered taboo in the world can be done freely. For example, the use of certain types of drugs is legal. There's an area called the Red Light District. You can look it up online if you want. So, relatively speaking, the Netherlands, and especially Amsterdam, seems like a country and a city where everything is free. Now, someone who believes that geography is destiny might think this. If geography is destiny, then someone born in Amsterdam grows up with this culture and sees all these things as normal. But as you can see, that's not how it works. Because geography is not destiny. The home you are born into is your destiny. If the home you were born into taught you that certain things are forbidden, no matter how free your geography is, your reality does not change. And that's why, if you want to write your own destiny, you must first change your subconscious. A person, I'm saying this in quotation marks of course, can be born and raised in a liberal country like the Netherlands, but still become someone who sees people as devils without even looking men in the face, and who gives no place whatsoever to freedom of thought. So what happens then? The home you are born into becomes your destiny. You are shaped by those closest to you.